Well, the Web Planet was a disappointment, but it's not as bad as this story. Hello ladies and gentlemen, Nick here, and welcome to my review of Doctor Who, The Space Museum, which is the third to last story from Season 2. So we're almost at the end of Season 2, there's 2 more stories after this. And, dare I say, are the, well, 2 of the 4 better stories of the season, and the other 2 of the 4 better stories of the season are the first 2. So you can tell that with the best 2... the best 4 being the first 2 and the last 4, you can tell what the quality is for the middle, with the exception of the Rescue and the Crusade. But sadly, the remainders didn't hold up. I would say this for the Web Planet, at least the story made sense. Okay, with the Space Museum, the first episode is great. A strange time travel mystery where the Doctor and his companions find that they are in glass cases, as with the TARDIS, and they're all exhibitions at the museum. Time hasn't caught up, and that's their potential future. So they're worried that when they eventually land back in the past, then that they have to try and avoid that future, but every step that they take might eventually lead to that future. The problem with the Space Museum is it's following 3 episodes. Whilst it does keep the theme of the Doctor and his companions trying to get back, trying not to have the future they saw take place, try to avoid it and eventually escape it. But besides that, it just becomes a bit of a nothing, really. I mean, it soon becomes a story about these guys on the planet trying to get their planet back from these people who have set up the museum of their own empire, and the guy who runs the museum wants the time travellers as museum displays just for being intruders. What? That's his reasoning. That's the reasoning the villain wants for the time travellers being his display. Because they're intruders. Fuck me. Oh. Also, the plot about some guys on the planet trying to overthrow these other guys because it's their home world. Been there, done that. I'm sure it has. If not, it'll be been there, done that again in the future. What do we have previously? I mean, Web Planet. Web Planet did it. There you go. The Menoptera. Well, technically it was and the Zarbi lived there as well, but the creature came there and controlled the Zarbi, so the Menoptera had to go away, and now they're having to come back to reclaim their planet. So yeah, been there, done that. Daleks, invasion of Earth, done that. Been there, done that. Humans tried to revolt against Daleks. Okay, it's a bit different. Yeah, I mean, it's slightly different, because it's a small band of people overthrowing a small, well, not that much of a larger group of taken overers, but we're going to see it done again, and so much better later on down the series, and so much worse as well, but, you know, the Doctor banding with, and his companions banding with the rebels to take back the planet or place that is rightfully theirs against these invaders or intruders who have just come in and intruded. I'm sure we're going to see it. We're going to see a bit more. I'm sure of it, and I'm also sure it's going to be a lot better in quite a few places. Certainly, Web Planet and Dalek Invasion of Earth did this scenario better. Maybe more so because they're aliens, but then again, they're also aliens in this story, so that doesn't really change anything. And nor does it the fact that they're a powerful militant force. So the villains in this one aren't afraid to kill, apart from maybe the time travellers for the exhibition. But not that much difference. And it's just not that interesting. I could see the reasonings behind the young people. The other guys, not so much. They just want a space museum, I guess. but like I said, the leaders, I didn't want to say governor, the villain, let's say curator, the curator's reasoning for the time travelers to be his new display pieces is because they're intruders. And that's it. I mean, yeah, he's a bit concerned about the young people, but he realises once they become more of a threat, that's when they'll deal with them. In the meantime, just get about their daily business, minus these intruders. Once the people get weapons, it becomes a revolt, and it's eventually that saves the Doctor and his companions from being turned into exhibitions. And there's a lot of back and forth going along. The Doctor gets captured, so Ian has to rescue him, but Ian then gets captured, whilst in the after rescuing the Doctor, they both get recaptured. Barbara gets captured with one of the rebels, but then they are rescued by Vicky and another rebel, and then one of the rebels gets killed and the other knocked out, and Vicky and Barbara are captured, and it's up to that surviving rebel when he's awakened by the rest, and said rest to eventually rescue them in the end. So there's a lot of backwards and forwards, and in the end, the Governor doesn't even bother. Says that he doesn't even want them to be exhibitions anymore. He just wants them killed because they've caused us so much trouble, which would change the future, but not in a good way. At least not for the main characters. So it's so much back and forth. I mean, it wouldn't be too bad, but it's so much back and forth, especially in the last episode. I think, yeah, it's all in the last episode. All this back and forth. Goodness sake. There is a few silver linings in the second, third and fourth episodes. Firstly, William Hartnell is brilliant, as always, from this. I think he's always brilliant in these stories. He has such a good charm and humour in these ones. Episode 3 is exceptional, as we only see him at the very start with the post recap scene, and then he's on holiday that week, and then he comes back in the next episode. The Dalek cameos are great. I love the little the Dalek appearance in episode 1, and then the Doctor hidden that to escape the rebels in episode 2, only to then be captured by the real villains later on. And then at the end of episode 4, we get a nice little tie-in to the chase with an actual Dalek there, the Dalek casing being was empty. Also, that was the one from the Daleks, whilst the Dalek at the end is has the new slats on the sign from the chase. So, nice to see that, and that leads into the start of the chase, which I'm really looking forward to rewatching, and I know that's a good story, so don't let me down on this rewatch the chase like the Web Planet did. Whoops. And this one, I think I liked this more on the first time viewing, but the second time, when I rewatched it, it's just not very good. It's not good. The first episode is very interesting, even though once they find themselves in the cabinet, it then does stop for a moment, for a minute or two, to basically continue looking at them, and then eventually time catches up a minute or two later, and they eventually arrive back in the past to carry out the events. So once they do see themselves in the cabinets and have a bit of talk about how it's possible and why, then they just stop for a minute looking at them and maybe just talking about it, and then we can snap back. I kind of lost interest around that point in episode 1, where they were just pausing to look at themselves in the casings for a bit, and then my attention was brought back once stuff actually got happening again, with them going back in time. And whilst my attention wasn't taken away from most of the rest of the story, I kind of wish it was for a little bit. It was pretty poor, really unenjoyable. It's not very good. It's not good. I had a go at the Web Planet for being disappointing, but at least that was a decent story. At least it tried. And yeah, I'll say it tried, and even the Romans had a few more colourful characters and didn't resort to as many silly cliches, although I still think that one is worse. I will say some elements were slightly better. But same for the Web Planet, I think it's better, but there are some worse elements. But the Space Museum is just... It's just had a great idea to start with, and it worked well with that. but then it just kept the foundations and just completely re-stylized everything. I mean, I don't partly mind, but at the same, I think it was executed really well. I think it could have been handled a bit better. So, Space Museum, another disappointment. Season 2 is getting very disappointing. This was my favourite Hartnell season before these rewatches, but now I think it might have to be my least favourite. See how next season fares. Season 4, it's only two stories, so it's only two ninths of a season. 2 stories out of 9, so it's only 2 ninths of the season, and Second Doctor ones are 7 ninths. Similar, season 21 would be 6 sevenths for 5 and 1 seventh for 6. Doctors 5 and 6. But overall, the Space Museum, yeah, I've already done my conclusion. Not good. Okay, starts well, but end disappointing. Rest of it. The ending is pretty good, though. I'll give it that. The ending is quite fun, where they eventually kill the baddie, save the rebels, save the Doctor and his companions, and they get to take the space-time visualizer in as a gift, and everything's okay now. And then we get the Daleks watching them leave and preparing for their chase through time in the next story. So yeah, pretty good ending. And a pretty good first episode, but the rest of it was pretty poor. So I'm going to give the Space Museum a 5 out of 10. Not as bad as the Romans, but easily the second weakest story in this season, and I had a bash at the Web Planet. So yeah, I think I did consider a 6, but I think just... No, it's just... It's... I don't know what it is. Season 2 on these rewatches has been getting worse for some reason. I mean, apart from the Rescue and the Crusade, which actually got better on these rewatchings, but Web Planet, Space Museum, and this time round the Romans... Oh god, even though the Romans did improve after a previous one, which was even worse. But hopefully things will be getting better, as we'll be getting to the other 2 of the best 4 stories of the series. And the first of those last 2 is The Chase, which, before this, I haven't rewatched this one yet, but pre-rewatch thoughts, it is my favourite of Season 2. Pre-rewatch expectations, it will probably stay that way, but if it doesn't, then it'll probably it'll probably still remain in the top 4, top 5, and the top number 1 would either go to Planet of Giants or Dalek Invasion of Earth. Possibly Invasion Earth after the recent rewatch, but I still really like Planet of Giants. But I think this one will still be my number 1 of Season 2. I still think it will be a great story. So we'll see. So next Doctor Who Season 2 story we will be reviewing will be The Chase. And I'm looking forward to this one. Don't let me down. Like Web Planet did. I've seen it more than once, so I know I like it. I really enjoy it, but hey, we'll see how it happens. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye. Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the official Nicholas Payne Retro YouTube channel. Okay, future me, that was a pre-review title scene again, like with the Web Planet. Okay, move on to the actual review. I've got a burp. I know I had a Stollen, but why do I need to burp so much? It was one Stollen. I didn't even eat it quickly. Also, my burps taste like my lunch. Fuck my non-existent titties. I don't have titties. Well, not the same kind as the women. I'm gonna cut that bit. That was stupid. That was silly. I'm sorry. Don't worry, guys. I'm still a man. Not that there's any problem with being a woman. I'm so sorry. Barbara eventually gets captured, but then Vicky saves her with some friends. But then some of the revolting, which I am really looking forward to. I know that's a good story. Don't let me down on this rewatch like Web of Fear did. The Chase, not Web of Fear, The Web Planet, which I'm really looking forward to. So I kind of lost a bit. I kind of lost track of what was going on. Well, yeah. But hopefully things will be getting better as we'll be coming to the second good stories are, and the last of the good two stories